The one writing tip I would say is useful is to find the time of day that works best for you. We've all got times of the day when we're at our best and times of the day when we're a bit sleepy or a bit off. And I think if you find the time of day where you're at your most productive, corral that for your writing. It's always hard to pick a favourite book that you've written. I mean, it's a bit like saying which of your children do you like best. But the one that in a way is the kind of touchstone for me is The Mermaid Singing, because it was so different from anything I had done before, and it was such a difficult book for me to write. I got to the end of that and I figured that if I could make a success of that, then no book would ever be beyond me. I'd always be able to find a voice or a structure to tell the story that I needed to tell. I write between January and April. That's when the book gets written, and so I write. Some days I write pretty much all day, but I tend to write in 20-minute bursts and then do other things. Some days, because of other commitments, I'll write maybe in the morning or maybe late in the evening. I write either in my office or generally I write quite a lot on trains. I spend quite a lot of time on trains, and I find trains are really good places to write. It's hard to say which particular books inspired me specifically, but the book that turned me on to crime fiction was at a very early age, probably about 9 or 10, Agatha Christie's The Murder at the Vicarage. My grandparents only had 2 books in the house. They had the Bible and for some reason The Murder at the Vicarage. So whenever I ran out of the library books I'd brought with me, that was where I turned. And I think that's what turned me on to the idea of grown-up books having to have dead bodies in them. What's my guilty pleasure? Drinking whiskey late at night. Well, I sit down at the keyboard. I don't have superstitious rituals at all. I just get on with it and do it. I always wanted to be a writer from the moment I realised that it was a job you got paid money for. I used to read this series of books, kids' books called the Specialises school books. It was a series of books, and one of the characters in that grew up to become a writer, and that was one point where I realised it's a job. You get paid money for just telling lies and making stuff up. I thought I could do that. That's what I want to do. A book generally starts with me with something quite small. It's something that intrigues me, something that makes me go, oh, that's interesting, or oh, I didn't know that. And from there, I sort of file the idea away in the back of my head and I'll pick up ill-considered trifles that seem to match with it, or bits that don't really match with it but end up matching with it. So over a period of time, idea will develop and I'll pick it up and look at it and think about how it might be used. Then I get to know the characters whose story this might be, and eventually it starts to take shape. And when I sit down to start the book, I've spent quite a bit of time thinking about the characters, and I'll know the shape of the story. I know pretty much where I'm heading towards. I know probably who's going to die. I know probably who's going to have done it. But most of the steps along the way are discovered as I go along. It used to be very different. I used to write in a very structured way. I would plan it out scene by scene and then write it. But that changed about a dozen years ago, and now I have this much more free-form approach. The question I hate being asked is, where do you get your ideas from? I think that's probably everybody's least favourite question. They're everywhere. Ideas are cheap. It's time that's the problem. Developing them, figuring them out. But ideas are everywhere. Yeah, I've lost the odd chapter here and there. Back in the olden days when the computer systems weren't quite as reliable as they are now, and you couldn't just park everything on the cloud. I've had that thing where that chapter, I had it yesterday, and it's gone. But if you discover it's gone quickly enough, you can usually pretty well rebuild it on the basis of remembering it. Sort of, you let your brain just relax into it, and most of it will come back. Well, it's hard to say because I've lost the original.